Hello everyone, Richard here at Calvin Wazoo, and as you may already know, the Guncles went a-guncling. In fact, I think that word can be used in two different ways. A guncling of Guncles went guncling. So yes, and this is my video to share the records that I picked up during this guncling excursion here in Chicago. So some of us have posted videos about it already. There is a video about it on the channel, our channel, the Vinyl Community Guncles. So you can check it out. I took one photo, which was used as the main photo for the channel video. So I really don't have any other photos to use, for the hero image or teaser image, whichever you want to call it, for my own video. But anyway, it was a great time. It was great for us to get together, to interact and meet in person. And it was just really enjoyable on a very special couple of days. So we all hope that we can do it again sometime. So with the records, as been stated, we went to 5 stores here in Chicago. And I've been to all these stores before, although a couple of them I haven't been to in quite a long time. That would include Squeezebox, well, actually 3 of them. The last 3, Squeezebox, Round Trip Records, and Bucket of Blood. Those 3 stores I haven't visited in very, very long time. But let's get started with this. No needle drops in this episode, just going to talk some more about the records, which I did already show, as I say, in the main video for the Guncles channel. First I want to start off with is that Robert Fithin, when he arrived in Chicago, he was bearing gifts. So he had something for all of us, including, I believe he had something for Shane, which, by the way, thank you so much, Shane, for the video taping and the photos that you did provide us. That was really great of you to do that. I tell you, you may have seen Shane appear on some of Craig's videos before. He's a wonderful guy, and I can tell why Shane and Craig are, if they're not best friends, they ought to be, but I can see why they are. It's just, it's really nice to see the two of them interact together. But yeah, back to the fact that Robert brought gifts for us. And this one here was really quite a surprise. This Patsy Cline 12 Greatest Hits. Now, I've talked about this before, and he paid attention, obviously, because I have this on CD, and I've gone through record store after record store. Just about every record store I go to, I look for the Patsy Cline section and to see if there's a vinyl version of this CD. And for a long time, it just, didn't seem like there was one, even though it is in Discogs. I do have, a Patsy Cline Greatest Hits compilation, but it doesn't have all the songs that are on this. And I really, really do like it. So this was really sweet to get this. And it's a really excellent copy, the Rainbow MCA label. So yeah, thank you so much, Robert, for this. And also, the weird thing about this is, now that I think about it, I was going through the listings of all the variants in Discogs, and I can't find this one. So I think I entered it as, now I can't remember. This is a 1980 release. The original was released much earlier with a different cover. Yeah, I couldn't find it because almost everything matches the entry, you know, for Discogs, including, well, no, I have this other mark on here. The catalog number etching is matches, but I have these other stamps in the runout. One of them is like this symbol, which I'm pretty sure is the symbol of the pressing plant. It kind of looks like it has two squares with a line between the two squares. There's a circle inside each of the squares, and then the line that's drawn between them has another circle, so the line is bisecting this circle in between the squares. I can't remember, but I seem to recall that that is a mark for a particular pressing plant. And then it says, it's stamped on here, Masteronics, I think is what it is. It's not quite that clear. Let me look on the other side. Yeah, it's still not quite that clear. But the catalog number, I think, matched like one of the variants, but I wasn't sure if this is a variant of that or if this is a completely different one. So some mystery involved with this. But anyway, thank you, Robert, for bringing this, and so I could add it into my collection. Now, for the records that I bought, I also did a, oh, you know, that kind of reminds me. All right, so this video is posted here on the day before Thanksgiving, which I want to remind you viewers who are, if you are watching on Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving here in the United States, to be careful, because it is among the top 2 or 3 days of the year that has the most drunken drivers on the road. So if you're out on the road, be very cautious. And if you've been imbibing for the holiday, think about finding other forms of transportation. This is definitely one of the top days, not only for drunken drivers on the road, but for drunken driver arrests. It's one where the police are out all over. So, and it is Thanksgiving. This is the day before Thanksgiving. And I just want to reiterate how thankful I am that the Guncles got together for this gathering. It was really quite special. It was wonderful to see all of you guys and to go out record shopping. It was really quite fun. And I'm very thankful for that. Yes, thanks for the holidays. Back to records. Okay, Reckless Records was the first place we stopped. And this is the shop that's on Belmont Avenue near the Brown and Red Line stop. This is right in my neighborhood. It's a store I go to fairly frequently. And they have like 3 stores. And I spent roughly $52 at this store. By the way, my poll as to who spent the most on this Guncling activity, for a while it was a tie according to the poll. The poll respondents said that it was a tie between myself and Mike of Hubtunes as to who spent the most. And then Mike started taking the lead. So, you know, the final tally with that particular item, and I'm quickly looking it up because I didn't write it down. So the final tally as of the time when I recorded this had 47% of the respondents saying that Mike spent the most. 30% said that I spent the most. 13% said that Robert spent the most, and only 10% said that Craig spent the most. Well, I am here to tell you that I spent the most. All right. We compared each other's receipts. I spent the most. Surprise of surprises. Okay. Robert spent the second most. All right. I spent $288.83. I forget the exact figure, but he spent in the 200s. And both Mike and, Craig were below $200 in how much they spent at the record stores. So, surprise, yes. And yes, Robert was surprised as well that he had spent the second most. Anyway, back to Reckless Records. So rounded up, it was $52 I spent on 2 records. So my first one from Reckless Record is one that I thought I had in my collection, but when I checked, it didn't. And there was this really, really nice copy of Francesco Zappa. The music is produced and recorded by Frank Zappa. So Francesco Zappa is not Frank Zappa. Francesco Zappa was a late Baroque period composer and musician, violin and cello, I believed he played. Not a whole lot of information about him. It is quite scant. There is no confirmed information about when he was born, although there is some speculation that it might have been around 1711. And also there is no precise date as to when he died. But he did produce music, wrote music, and we do know that period when he was doing that some of that information is with the liner notes with the record, although it's written in a very irreverent and tongue-in-cheek way, but it matches most of what you can find. And as I say, you can't find a whole lot about Francesco Zappa, but he basically, the bulk of his work was done from about 1763 to 1788. So this was at the tail end of the Baroque period. And when you listen to how the compositions were reproduced by Frank Zappa, yes, you do. It's very much a Baroque sound to it. Some speculate that he didn't really do as well because he sounded like a happier Mozart. But anyway, I believe the story goes, and I'll talk about this more in a separate video when I do Zappa one at a time. But as I recall, it seems that somebody gifted these manuscripts, the sheet music, to Frank because of the name Francesco Zappa. And so he opted to turn it into a recording using, I believe, the synclavier. I'll have that more precise information when I do that video for Frank Zappa one album at a time. The other record I picked up at Reckless Records is this one here. This is a collaboration between Khruangbin and Vu Farou, who is the son of Ali Farka, who is considered the godfather of African blues. And I've seen Vu Farou play, and he is really, really quite incredible. I saw him on a free show here in Chicago, in fact. And then, of course, you've got Khruangbin playing along with him. Really fantastic record. Really happy that I got this. So I'm probably gonna, I'm not sure if I'm gonna put it with my Vu Farou collection or if I'm gonna put it with my Khruangbin collection. Not sure yet. I'll have to figure that one out. But definitely a really, really great record if you like Saharan blues, desert blues. Actually, he is from, let me see, I think he's from, Mali. He's from Mali. But that's all part of the, Saharan region of Northwest Africa. But definitely a very cool record. sounds really great. Then we went up to Andersonville, sometimes referred to as Mandersonville. It's a neighborhood in Chicago. And we went to a record store that I go to with fair frequency, and that's Rattleback Record. And this is the store I spent the most. And one of the items that I picked up, I was really pleased to see this. This is Genesis selling England by the pound. I've always wanted to get this into my collection. This is a 1973 release. So it's with Peter Gabriel. And it is a fantastic sounding recording. So on the famous Charisma label, as you can see. Yeah, so I was really happy to get this. 15 bucks, you know, it was within range, you know, but it's like a VG Plus pressing. Very good. And then, of course, you know, we did our video about Lou Reed, ranking the Lou Reed albums. And of my top 5, 2 of the top 5 were records that I didn't have, but I really, really liked. And they were there at Rattleback Records. So the first one, this is a new release of the Blue Mask. All right, so this is a new remastering, is it? Yeah, it's remastered. And again, sounds really, really high quality pressing. This is a 1982 is the original release date. This particular pressing, I can't remember now when this was released, but I'll probably be talking more about this as well in a future video. The other one that I picked up in the store was this one, and this is an OG copy. I think this is an OG copy. It might have been a repressing a couple of years after. I'd have to look that up now. I don't remember. But anyway, it's an early pressing of Legendary Hearts, which while most people, or most critics anyway, say the Blue Mask is the better, you know, and it's true. It's a very strong return to form for Lou Reed. And most say that this particular release, which was the next release, didn't measure up quite as well against the Blue Mask. I like this one better than the Blue Mask. And saying that from the perspective that I really haven't listened to these albums until recently. So I was unaware of them at the time that they were released. But yeah, so it was nice to get this early pressing of Legendary Hearts. And with that, and of course, you know, I talk a little bit more about some of the songs individually, you know, in our episode, our Guncles episode, where we talk about the Lou Reed catalog. Now, another record that I picked up, and this was the most expensive record that I picked up from Rattleback. And they usually have a pretty good section of his records. And this is Async by Ryuichi Sakamoto. And it's on the Mylan Records label. It's a 2017 record. And we're talking semi-ambient, electronic, modern, classical style. And Ryuichi Sakamoto, briefly, was a founding member of Yellow Magic Orchestra, one of the groundbreaking electronic synthesizer groups. They were coming out from Japan at about the same time. You had Kraftwerk in Germany, you know, so a very similar thing going on. And so yeah, he was a founding member, and I have always been more drawn to Ryuichi Sakamoto's work post Yellow Magic Orchestra, and I have quite a few of his records, and I really like the releases, particularly from the last decade. and they are, to me, more, they're more beautiful in sound and richness and texture, and more mature, definitely. And I just really love what he's done. And he's done just countless soundtracks for both anime and for feature films, plus all the different works. I'm gonna definitely be doing a video about my Ryuichi Sakamoto, and I continue to add his releases to my collection, and they tend to be pricey at the time of release. But really excellent album. I'm really like this. All right, so that does it for Rattleback Records. So those records there, that was $104, roughly $104. And we went to Squeezebox up in Evanston, and I've been there a couple of times, and I enjoy that store as well. And what I picked up was this one here, Country Joe and the Fish. I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die rag. Didn't have this in my collection. Again, really strong sounding pressing, and really interesting psychedelic songs on here. Of course, we've got the Fish Call in here, but yeah, there's some just really good music, and also very I don't want to, it's one of those records that I like to say it rubs right up against nihilism but doesn't quite endorse it. It does really reflect the very hippie attitude that the only moment we have in time is the moment right now. So live. Wonderful record, and a very cool cover on that. And it has nice introductions in here of the different members of the band. So I'll probably, I'll see if I do another episode where, like a recent finds episode, where I may play a needle drop, from many of these records. Then I picked up this one also. This is Stereolab Switched On. So this is a compilation, and I picked it up. It's from 2018. This compilation was originally released in 1992. The reason I picked it up is because it's got Super Electric, which is one of my favorite songs by Stereolab. And to get the Super Electric EP, which I believe is like one of their first releases, it's difficult to find, and domestically, as in the United States, it's not too expensive if I were to buy it from a vendor in Great Britain, but man, the shipping is just outrageous and often more than what the record price was. So I was very happy to see that this record had Super Electric on it. It's an okay pressing. I think there's a serious issue with inner groove distortion on here. I've read some other comments in Discogs, people saying that this is a very muddy pressing, that the sound quality is not all that great. And I kind of get that, listening to it. So I'll probably, and I also read that other people have bought multiple copies of this and they still have the same problems. So it's definitely not a fluke thing with this. Apparently it's just across the entire pressing. So I may still need to find a copy of that Super Electric EP to get that. But hey, it's listenable. It's not such a bad pressing that I can't stand listening to it. And I do enjoy that. All right, so then the next place we went to was Round Trip Records, all right, which is in Chicago. is that the Avondale neighborhood? It's just to the west of the North Park neighborhood on Foster. Tiny store, but really, as Mike said in his video, very eclectic assortment of records and music in there. And so the Peel session, this one here of Aphex Twin, is one that I picked up. I do like Peel sessions. I try to pick up a Peel session whenever I see them. I did pick up a Peel session one time that was a noise metal band. Yeah, it's a Peel session, but whoa. Anyway, Aphex Twin, not noise metal. Really good album. I really like this. I'm a fan of Aphex Twin anyway. So, and this is a really quality recording, as usually are all the Warp record releases. I mean, Warp has put out some really solid releases. So that's the Aphex Twins Peel session. And then the vendor, one of the store owners, and sorry I can't recall his name, suggested this for me because I have a Sun Ra record. It's the heliocentric Worlds of Sun Ra. I think it's volume 2. It's either volume 1 or volume 2. I can't remember. And while I don't hate it and I don't dislike it, it's just really been difficult for me to grasp and get a handle on. It's a bit out there, but I can say I kind of like what I'm hearing. I just it's not something I want to listen to all that frequently, but I know I need to listen to it more. And so he suggested a couple, and I decided to go with this one, because I wanted listening to the heliocentric worlds, made me realize I want to like Sun Ra. Okay, I hear something going on there, but maybe this was the wrong record for me to start with. So he had this one here, and this is called Sun Ra and his Arkestra, Supersonic Jazz. And this is his debut with the Arkestra. So this is like his first record. We're talking about 1957. And I like this. Oh, I really like this. This has still got that, for 1957, it was very avant-garde. And it was very experimental and it was very out there, but there's still this retention of melody and music that is recognizable despite all the different directions that it veers off into. Yes, I really, really like this. And so I am more enthusiastic now about Sun Ra and will probably go from here forward so that as his work becomes more abstract and more experimental, perhaps I will move along with him rather than starting in the midst of all that like I did with the heliocentric worlds. So this one, yes, it was a great recommendation on this very nice sort of not quite clear vinyl. It's kind of a little bit of a gray silver color to it. But man, yes, really like this one. And then the last place we went to was Bucket of Blood. And as I said, I haven't been to Bucket of Blood in like a really long time. And I did find a record there that I wanted. And I was really quite surprised. Although now I remember the folks, well, let me tell you, it's the debut album of Kakugaku Moyo on the Guru Brain label. And I'm a big fan of Kakugaku Moyo. Japanese psychedelic rock, really, really good stuff. So this is their debut, and it's on the black vinyl. I haven't, actually, this is the one record of all the ones I bought. I haven't given it a listen yet, But yeah, it's on black vinyl. I unfortunately am never able to find a color variant of anything by Kakugaku Moyo. All their other later releases, to my understanding, I have most of them, but they are out of press. And this one, because I contacted the record label, and they said that they were going to do another pressing of this. So this might be a newer pressing of their debut. I will have to check, when I take a look at it and at the run-out grooves, etc., to see if this is a first pressing or if it is a reissue of this particular record. But yeah, fantastic stuff. I really, really like Kakugaku Moyo. And I really like this label, Guru Guru Brain, because they have a lot of different psychedelic music from bands and musicians from East Asia. So bands from Taiwan, from Thailand, from South Korea, I believe, Japan, of course. There may even be one from Indonesia that they have. So yeah, it's quite a variety of posts of releases that they have that they carry. So yes, Kakugaku Moyo. I'll definitely be doing a separate review of that after I give it a listen. So hey, there you go. Those are the records that I got as the Gunkle who spent the most during our Guncling. I hope you enjoy that. Leave a comment in the down under. Remember that you can find me on Instagram as NewsDude76. That's NEWZDUDE76. I also have a Facebook page called Calvin Wazoo, so you can find and follow me there. I not only do I post the videos that I create here on YouTube, but I post other content, music-related content on that Facebook page. So it's not like you're just only getting this at a different venue. Oh, my records fell off. Oh well. And then remember also, to hit the like button. It helps. It really does help with distribution of the content. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your loyalty. And as we enter the Thanksgiving weekend, I am very thankful for all of you. I truly appreciate it. And remember, when you are praying this holiday weekend, don't forget to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.